Dear friends, in this video we are going to discuss about the basic requirements and prerequisites for learning this SAP S4 Hana Financial Supply Chain Management module, that is Fscm module. Previously we have discussed about this Fscm module in our previous video. In that video we have discussed about why to learn this SAP Fscm module and why all the companies are implementing this SAP Fscm module, and other details we have discussed very clearly in the previous videos. So in this video we are going to discuss about the prerequisites for learning this SAP S4 HANA Financial Supply Chain Management module, that is Fscm module. That means what are the eligibility criteria for learning this Fscm module and all other stuff. So in this video we will discuss very clearly about the prerequisites and basic requirements in order to learn this Fscm module one by one. So what is the first criteria here? The candidate should have strong domain experience in managing billing disputes. If the candidates are very strong in managing billing disputes, then they can be able to learn this Fscm module. And similarly, if the candidates are very strong in handling the collection management activities, then they can be also able to learn and implement this Fscm module. And once if the consultants are very strong in handling the electronic billing activities, then they can also be able to implement the end-to-end Fscm module, and they can be able to learn this module. Once after learning this module, they can also implement this SAP Fscm module for an organization. And similarly, SAP has recommended some different levels of domain experience. What is that? If the candidates are having strong domain experience in handling risk management, they can be able to learn and implement this Fscm module. And SAP has given some recommendations. In other words, SAP has given some prerequisites, or in other words, SAP has given some basic requirements before getting into this Fscm module. So now we have discussed about 4 different levels of domain experience which are mandatory for learning and implementing SAP Fscm module. Similarly, once if the candidates are very strong in handling the working capital, then they can be able to learn and implement this Fscm module. Similarly, if the candidates are having very strong domain experience in customer collections, then they can be also able to learn and implement this Fscm module for any organization. So likewise, there are many different levels of domain experience suggested by SAP for learning this SAP S4 HANA Financial Supply Chain Management module, that is Fscm module. And similarly, they have given one more domain experience. What is that? If the candidates are having strong domain experience in reducing the bad debts, they can be also able to learn and implement this entire Fscm module for any organization. So these are all the different levels of domain experience suggested by SAP, or in other words recommended by SAP for the candidates who are willing to learn and implement this SAP Fscm module for an organization. So we will discuss each and every point once again based on the domain experience, how the consultants are able to, how the candidates are able to learn and implement this entire end-to-end Fscm module for any organization in the real-time industry. So we will discuss one more time. Point number 1, the candidate should have strong domain experience in managing billing disputes, or if the candidates should have to have strong domain experience in handling collection management activities, or if the candidates are very strong if the candidates are having strong domain experience in handling electronic billing activities, or if the consultants or if the candidates are very strong, or if the candidates are having strong domain experience in handling risk management activities. Similarly, if the candidates are having very strong domain experience in handling the working capital, or if the candidates are having strong domain experience in improving customer collections, or if the candidates are having very strong domain experience in reducing the bad debts, only those candidates can be able to learn, only those candidates can be able to implement, only those candidates can be able to support, only those candidates can be able to execute and design the entire end-to-end Fscm module for the organization successfully. So in this video, we have discussed very clearly about the different levels of domain experience which are highly mandatory for learning and implementing this Fscm module. Only those candidates who are having the domain experience in the above discussed activities like working capital activities, customer collection activities, reducing bad debts, or managing billing disputes, or in collection management, or handling electronic billing activities, or handling risk management activities. Only those consultants or only those candidates are able to learn, only those candidates are able to implement, only those candidates are able to execute, support and design the end-to-end SAP financial supply chain management for any organization successfully. So we have discussed very clearly about the different levels of domain experience which are made mandatory for learning and implementing this SAP Fscm module successfully for an organization. So in this video, we have already discussed about the different levels of domain experience in different activities like collection management or electronic billing or risk management or billing disputes or working capital or handling customer collections or reducing the bad debts. These are all different levels of domain experience which are suggested, which are recommended, or which are made mandatory for all the candidates in order to learn, in order to implement, in order to support, in order to execute, and in order to design the entire end-to-end complete financial supply chain management activities for an organization. So that means the eligibility criteria for learning this SAP Fscm module is very mandatory, because without having strong domain experience in the above discussed activities, then it is very difficult to handle the entire end-to-end financial supply chain management projects for an organization in the real-time environment. So in this video, we have clearly discussed about the different levels of domain experience for learning, for implementing, for executing, for supporting, for designing the end-to-end Fscm module, that is financial supply chain management module, for any organization successfully. And about myself, I want to introduce myself to you. I am Raja. I am having more than 20 plus years of experience in the SAP industry. I have worked as a consultant. I have worked as a practice head. I have worked as a delivery head for many projects. And also I have involved in many implementation, production support, rollout and upgrade projects as well. And regarding my on-site experience, I have more than 5 years of on-site experience in Middle East and Europe, handling both Middle East and European clients. And regarding my certification areas and interests, I have done my certification in finance. I have done my certification in business process planning and consolidation module. That is the advanced module for consolidation reporting. I have completed my certification in SAP S/4HANA Simple Finance module. Similarly, I have completed my certification in S/4HANA Simple Logistics module, which is the combination of sales and distribution, material management, production planning, and a part of plant maintenance and quality management modules. And also I have completed my certification in SAP S/4HANA Central Finance. And very recently, I have completed my certification in SAP Business and Revenue Innovation Management, that is SAP BRIM application. So that's all about myself. In this video, we have clearly discussed about the basic requirements or the prerequisites for learning the entire end-to-end Fscm module, and we have also discussed about the different levels of domain experience which are mandatory for learning and implementing this SAP Fscm module successfully for an organization. In our next video, we will discuss about different implementation methodologies which are adapted for ECC as well as S4 HANA system, because in our traditional ECC system we are using accelerated SAP methodology for implementation, whereas in SAP S4 HANA we are using SAP Activate methodology for implementation. So we will discuss about this Activate methodology as well as ASAP methodology in detail in our next videos. And I think you people are very clear about the basic requirements and the prerequisites for learning this SAP Fscm module. Only the candidates, those who are having the domain experience in the above discussed activities, only those are able to learn, only those are able to implement, only those are able to support, only those are able to execute, only those are able to design the end-to-end FSCM projects for their clients successfully and effectively. Thank you.